So what is a leather desk mat for anyway? I think you could use them for a lot of things. I think you can use it as a large desk mat. I think you can use it to protect the finish of a nice table. The flip side of that is I think you can use it to cover up a spot that might be rougher or somewhere where the finish has worn off on a table that's otherwise pretty sturdy and still good to use. I think you could even use it as a placemat for your lunch and your drink if you're bringing it into the office. Now that's if you're working from home. If you're working from an office, then I think bringing this desk mat to work is a good way to get some of those nosy people in the office to ask you about your cool leather setup. For me, I like to use a leather desk mat as a nice backdrop for Instagram photos or pictures that I'm going to put into a video. And as a matter of fact, that's why this specific desk mat has two different sides, because you can use both sides to take pictures. If you need a smooth side for a certain cigar, or if you're using it as a mouse pad, this side is nice and smooth and it's good. If you want a nice, maybe a little bit of a crazier look, a nice loud kind of cool look, I think that side is the way to go. So it also gives my buddy and fellow Cigar Public cigar reviewer Charles Ruth, aka Smokin' Oak Tennessee on Instagram. It gives him two different sides that he can use for whatever he wants to use them with. If he wants to take different pictures and have different looks, he's got that available to him. If he's sitting there having some nice herfs on the Zoom with a bunch of buddies, he can use it. I think the list goes on and on for what you could actually do with a nice leather desk mat. I think they're pretty versatile, and I think it's one of the cooler trends that's kind of going around right now in leatherwork. I also think it's a pretty approachable project that a lot of folks that are looking into leatherwork could kind of tackle on their own. I worked closely with Charles to pick the leather, and I think he picked a really cool, this King Croc is really cool. It's a King Croc stamped leather from Springfield Leather. And then on the back, I used actually the leather that I have for my desk mat, and I think this thing looks awesome. I think it's a really good, nice, sturdy leather to use as a desk mat. The project overall wasn't too difficult. I think a person with enough time could tackle it. The places where I had to give a little more focus and attention was when I was cutting out the large pieces, and then when I was gluing them together to make sure there was enough glue, to make sure the glue was in the right places, and then to make sure that the two pieces lined up together so that they look nice and nothing is sticking out and it all looks like one piece. I think I pulled that off pretty well. The desk mat came out okay. The other place where I had to have a lot of patience and take my time and make sure I set enough time aside, I should say, is with the stitch all the way around this 13 by 18 mat. I hand stitched the whole thing and I think it came out great. That stitching took a little while. And I think if you were going to tackle a project like this, that's something you might want to set enough time aside for, because it could, if you don't have a sewing machine for leather, take a little bit of time to get through this 13 by 18 mat. This is a cool desk mat, and I think the project, like I've said before, overall came out really well. If you have any questions about how I did it or what I did or what I used, please leave those questions in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you, no problem. And Charles, I always appreciate your support, so thank you for working with me on this project. I think it came out really cool. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I've got more content on the way, and have a good one.